very strong players available, yeah, but the development was not like 12 years old. We were not a grandmaster in this time. Even Kasparov was, in my generation, of course, the most talented player, clearly. And, in '77 he was national champion, Gary Kasparov, and I managed to win the qualification in the same year. So this was one of the few tournaments where I could be ahead of him. He was tied in the second place. So that was also, of course, the result of hard professional work with Mark Dvoretsky, who had very methodic approach, and the strength of his method was that in the first, the main priority was to work over your weakness. So he analyzed basically your style, your abilities, and then he saw this and this we have to really to improve and dramatically. And of course this method gives the most profit in a short time. So because we're just eliminating the weakest spots, and in my case it was hard work on the calculations and fantasy and also intuition, and that work also continued on the way of many years. But also we did a lot of interesting blocks like prophylactical thinking or end games. So I was on a very good level prepared for the future. I wanted to stress on one aspect, which is actually I started to do even before I was started to work with Mark Dvoretsky. This is analysis of own games. I think this is an incredibly important aspect for every player. And I have still at my home, I have some notebooks, because in our time we didn't have computers, so we wrote annotations in an old way, yeah, just writing diagrams and drawing diagrams and all this stuff. So nowadays people probably don't do it, I don't know, but that's how we were working. And I have many notebooks with analysis of my game. So I think that's what I did even before Mark, yeah, and actually nobody told me to do so. It was a very natural, maybe part of the Russian chess culture, that you have to analyze your own games. And yeah, so that's what I did even before I started working.
I think it was also advised by Botvinnik, but also to publish them in order to get feedback.
Yes, that's correct, and that actually was very good advice, because again, in our time we didn't have computers, so you cannot check basically the quality of your work. And the point of Botvinnik was, if you publish, then of course people would find mistakes, they would watch it, the games, analyze it, and maybe they see mistakes in the analysis, so you will profit from the feedback which you can get from the other people. So Botvinnik was actually very honest also in his annotations, and indeed in 1974 I started also to be one of the students in his school. So this then it was in this school it was a standard, of course, to analyze your own games, and to also we have to send some games to Botvinnik or to show some games in a training session. But I did it even earlier, before I came to the school, but it was one of the obligations, yes, of the students, basically, you can say. And indeed also Botvinnik urged the young players also to make an analysis if you played interesting game. It was, in my time, it was very usual. If it was a really good game, you publish it in the magazine, or you give it to chess editors, and normally it would be published. So if interesting end game or interesting analysis, that was also a kind of part of Russian chess culture, or Soviet chess culture. a lot of interesting publications, and people were exchanging their ideas. That's also important. But also you can get feedback, and people would say your analyses are stupid and you make here this and this mistake. So you can learn a little bit how to analyze better, to see why you did some mistakes. So that's important part. In a book which we wrote together with Mark Dvoretsky, I actually wrote about this topic, analysis of your own games, and there is several aspects which are, I think, very, very important. I will put kind of shorter, maybe shorter version. Also, recently in the House of Karel, I saw the book of Jesper Hall, about also he was saying about analysis of own games, but maybe he just read my article, I don't know, because it was no confrontation of whatever, it was the same, basically the same ideas. So the reasons why it is important to analyze your own games are kind of obvious. First of all, it's also our contribution to chess, so it's important to at least to collect the games, to have all games what we played in a reasonable way. Second, the reason, of course, that we already thought about some problems, we have some feelings, we have some assessments of the situations, and maybe it's worth to make another effort. After 4 hours of work during the game, or maybe 5 or 6 hours work during the game, it's worth maybe to make another couple of hours to put everything in the right place, or to understand what was going on. So it is just, we already know the material, what we are talking about, so we really thought about it even in a very emotional way. So we were trying also to make some decisions. We can now, in a not stressy situation, we can understand what was wrong, maybe what was better, what is a better approach. So there is a lot of useful information we can get from these games, more than basically from any other material, because we are already emotionally involved with the material, with the games, with the problematic. So this is another aspect.